What's up, guys? We are back at it here in Scraggle heaven. Look at this. The Scraggle is so real. It's gonna be pretty gnarly. See what happens. Anyway, so I was playing around on the simulator the other day and started experimenting with some like really low rates compared to what I normally fly. And so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly around. We're just gonna burn packs, and I brought my laptop. We're gonna try different rates. I'm not going to play with PIDs too much because frankly I suck at tuning PIDs. So what we're going to do instead is play with the rates, which I think has a much bigger influence on how your footage is going to come out anyway, because it's influencing how the drone moves itself. The PIDs might help get rid of like oscillations and things, but as far as like smooth flying, your rates are going to be far more important in my opinion. So with that said, let's go get set up and let's try and fly some new rates. See how it goes. So that was my normal rates. That's what I've been flying for a little while. It's about 1100. I'll put it up on the screen as my max rate, I mean. So it feels really twitchy to me, really really jumpy. It's not smooth. I don't really use the high end of the rate very often. I'm not spending a lot of time on the extremes of the stick. I'm always kind of close to center stick. Almost fell in a hole there. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually gonna decrease my max rate, and I think I'm gonna keep the Expo the same for now and see how that feels. Okay, unfortunately I think that the GoPro didn't save that last flight with the new rates. Yeah, so I got stuck up in that tree. And then I had to use this stick here to get it out, and it nearly fell into that, which luckily I caught it. So caught it on the way down. But I don't know if it's from the crash or if it just didn't start recording when I hit record. Maybe I didn't push the button down all the way or something. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like that last flight didn't actually get recorded, so that sucks. But that's okay. Let's talk about what happened. So it felt really smooth. In fact, too smooth. It felt like I had to move the sticks like 30% before I was getting significant movement, turning, whatever. So, but I liked the max rate. It's the max rate was at 900 degrees per second, and that felt kind of good. I might lower that just a little bit more, like 850 or something. I don't know, but for now, I'm just gonna leave the max rate at 900, and I'm gonna drop down the Expo so that it's not as sensitive, or so it'll be more sensitive in the center region, because like I said, I had to move the sticks a lot to get a little bit of movement. So if I was in like something that I needed to react, like a crash, then I don't know if I would be able to move it quickly and in a controlled way, because if I moved it all the way to the end, then it would hit that expo so high that it would just kind of flip out. So I'm going to reduce the expo and try it again. Hopefully the GoPro records this time. And recording, and the expo's changed. Let's fly. Okay, everything that I just gained by decreasing my max rate, I lost by decreasing my expo too much. So now, for my taste, it felt too twitchy, too responsive. As you saw over there when I almost blew up into that tree, I was able to respond quickly in that like emergency scenario where about to hit stuff and whatever, but it's still too twitchy. I came up to this bathroom, outhouse, whatever you want to call it. I came up to this, as you probably saw in the video, and I was coming at it and it just felt way too twitchy. I come in right about here and it felt so twitchy that, I mean, this isn't like a super tight gap. I don't know. For me, it's a little bit tight. Some of you guys are probably like, that's super big, whatever. But anyway, yeah, so that, I backed off. I didn't feel comfortable going through it because it was too twitchy. I need more expo for my personal preference. So I'm going to decrease my max rate to about 850 and increase my expo a little bit. And yeah, we'll try that. We're getting there. It's close. It's getting very close. And this might be something that I'm messing with for a long time. Actually, it probably will be. Always changing, right? Yeah, it felt good. I think, so that was about 850 max rate, and that felt almost good for me. I think I'm going to split the difference between 900 and 850, go somewhere around 875. As far as expo goes, it was pretty much right on the money. Maybe just a touch more, or touch less sensitive for me, just a little bit, but it's close. As you saw coming through the bathroom that time, I was able to go through, but I wasn't super confident with it. You know, I had to take it slow, and I was adjusting a lot, and it didn't look very smooth or good. But I got through it. So, tiny bit more expo, and increase the max rate just a smidge. Crash tore out the video out cable that goes to the VTX. So now I guess I'm done for today because I don't field solder. I don't have a field soldering iron. I don't know, maybe someday I will, but right now it just hasn't been a huge priority. So I guess we're done flying today. But I got really close to the rates that I like. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of like minor tweaking to them still. But I'm pretty happy. I'm happy at about 900 as my max rate. On that last flight with 875, it still didn't feel quite right. It felt just a tiny bit slow. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump it back up to 900 because it felt good. But I'm also gonna increase the expo so that I still have that like sensitivity and center stick. Or what is the opposite of sensitivity? I'll have that. Anyway, so yeah, we're pretty much done for today. I might stick around for a little bit, but it's actually getting kind of windy and cold anyway, so not too upset about that, about going home, because it's windy and cold. But look at this river. It's gorgeous. Idaho, right there. So let's sit down here by this river. Actually, I'm gonna turn around so you can look at the river. Let's sit down here and talk about what we learned today. What did we learn? So, we learned that, for one, there's no cost to experimenting with different rates. If you're already set and you love your rates and you think there's nothing better, experiment anyway, because there's nothing to lose. I mean, if you're flying normally with the rates you already like and have, then you're gonna crash sometimes. And if you switch it up and try new rates, worst case scenario, you crash, which is gonna happen anyway. So there's no cost, it's no loss to you. It's really just for fun, you know? It's no different than playing with different PIDs and stuff, in my opinion. So, do it, experiment. I also learned that I think most people are flying with too high of rates. They see people like Mr. Steele and Sharpoo and whatever, and they see them just doing these crazy flips and going absolutely berserk and just really high energy flying, which that's their style and it's cool and that works for them, great. But I think a lot of people idolize them and will fly high rates because they want to be like them instead of trying to find their own personality, their own fit. And I think everybody, well, not everybody, I think a lot of people are flying rates that are too high. When I say rates that are too high, I mean their max rate. Max rate over 1,000 is really fast. And if that's your style and it works for you, great. But don't be afraid to try something slower. Don't be afraid to try something new, because you don't know, maybe you'll like it. I am one of those people. I was flying at about 1,100 for a long time and I loved it, and I was like, there's nothing better, I like this, great. And then I started experimenting and I found out that I actually like a little bit slower rates. It gives me more control, it gives me more smoothness, and I like the way it feels a lot better. So I'm going to be trying this for a while. And you know what? Maybe 3 months down the road, or maybe next week, who knows? Maybe I'll change it up again and I'll go back to something higher or even lower. I don't know. It's all evolving. It's changing as you change as a pilot and evolve as a pilot. So don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. And yeah,